This is going to be my long-term review of the SOG powerlock multi-tool. I've been carrying multi-tools for over 10 years, using them daily in my work, doing various things, mainly mechanic type work, but all kinds of outdoors activities. And yeah, so we're going to take a look at this thing. I originally bought it a little over 5 years ago, and I used it every single day for a full year, if not a little bit more than that year. To get a really good feel for it. So let's talk a little bit about what makes it special or sets it apart from other multi-tools. The first thing is what they call up here the multiplier or the multiplier, and it's a gear system that actually works together to give you a better, more force exerted on the actual pliers. And in part of the marketing and sales videos, it's pretty neat. They actually take a penny and just snap it in half, and I've done it. It actually does work. It's pretty neat. So they have that, and then they have these little covers here on the side. I don't know if that's really a selling point. It's just because it's rough and sharp. So you have these covers here. This is not the EOD tool. It's the regular tool with the cutter. It does have electrical crimp tools here on the bottom, and we'll just show you the guts inside here. You've got one wood blade, a spike, good size number 2 Phillips, which I really appreciate. I really can't stand the little flat Phillips bits. They're almost useless in a lot of situations. And then we've got 2 flathead screwdrivers there, and the can opener. You've got a hybrid blade, which I also don't really care for. I wish I had 2 other usable blades, like maybe a flat blade and a serrated. Another screwdriver here with a bottle opener. The scissors, which actually are pretty good. A lot of times scissors can be garbage on multi-tools, but these actually seem to work okay. I haven't had any issues with them spreading apart, so they work well. And then you do get a pretty neat little quarter-inch driver here, so you can use any regular sockets. This one does also lock in the 90-degree position here, so you get a good bit of extra leverage. The warranty is also good. I've sent it back before for one repair. And it worked out well. I got it back pretty quick. That's pretty much where all the positives end, unfortunately, for this tool. It has a lot of shortcomings, and I think maybe it has a couple good ideas that just weren't executed very well. So I originally had it sent back in because my pliers were damaged. The tips here broke off, and it got extremely loose over time. Now, I do use my tools hard. I mean, I use them the way that, I'm probably harder than most people do. I've used it as a hammer, I've used it as a pry bar. I mean, every single day I use this thing. But still, it should stand up. My other tools do. So anyway, I set it back in, had the pliers replaced. They only replaced the pliers and these 2 Allen screws here. Everything else was left alone, and that's how I got it back. So the first thing I noticed was when I first got it, for the plier very tip to completely close, I may have been right about here. Now, since it's so worn out, these 2 pieces actually touch each other before this completely closes, and I don't really care for that at all. You're obviously not getting your full clamping force if you're touching the 2 sides of the multi-tool together. Another thing that really kind of bugs me is these covers here. I wish they would have done something kind of like Leatherman did with the Surge here, where these edges are nice and round and extremely comfortable to squeeze on them. And you can squeeze as hard as you can, and this tool won't indent your hands or anything. This one's not the case. These edges are pretty sharp, so they put these covers on here to fix that. Well, the big problem is the covers come off constantly. You can take these 2 pieces here and bend them in, which I've done to get a little bit better fit. But as you can see, one is already gone, and after so many times of losing them, I actually was up on a hoist, and I dropped it down into like a jungle, and it's gone. So so that part kind of bugs me a little bit. The next thing that really got on my nerves was the way that the tools lock up. So you have these 2 pieces here, which is traditional. I mean, most multi-tools have something like that. Here's a super tool, there's a charge. You have that same pivoting action, but these just do not work well at all. For example, I'll get out the Phillips head bit here, put the others back away, and it doesn't lock in very positively. You see, I just turned it. And the biggest thing was actually using it. It just bends over all the time, constantly back and forth. There's not enough spring tension here, and there's not a positive enough lock for it to stay in place. So this locking system is absolute garbage, and there's no way to tighten it up because inside here you can see a leaf spring right inside there. It's riveted in place there, and it puts downward pressure on this portion. There's no way to tighten it because it's riveted. This section here is riveted on either side. If this was maybe a screw or something, you could take it out and you could bend that leaf spring a little bit to give it some extra force. But unfortunately, there's no getting around that. So I think this could have been a really good tool, and maybe their newer tools are better. Like I said, this one is pretty old. But that's my take on it. If you're looking for a heavy duty or high use multi-tool, go with something else like this super tool here. Man, these things are the bomb. This is my go-to multi-tool. Also, the Surge is a really great tool. It's just a little bit heavier. It is more refined though. So one last thing I'll say, a lot of people will buy a multi-tool and expect to use it in the configuration that it came. Unfortunately, the sheath is just absolute garbage. You can buy aftermarket ones, but like I said, most people don't want to do that. They just want to run it like it came. Well, I can't tell you how many times this thing has just come out while I've been doing normal activities. Well, if I'm, climbing a ladder or running or laying down on a creeper underneath the vehicle, this has come out of the sheath so many times. I had to use a different one just to hang on to the dang thing. So this is one that someone made for me in Honduras. But so yeah, there is your long-term review of the SOG powerlock. If you're looking for a good multi-tool for a bunch of uses, I would look elsewhere. I may do a video on a couple other tools. I just wanted to kind of show this one off because I'm going to send it back in here pretty soon and see if they can maybe address some of the issues that I've brought up, or maybe just replace it with something newer and see what else they have. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments.